Please go crazy. He is a one championship ring announcer. He's the drummer in Uranus. He is one of my best friends, Dominic Lau.
I'm doing a reel. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Hello and good afternoon. Music Matters, class of 2021. You're here, you made it. It's great to see you. And likewise, it is good to be back. Personal thanks to my boy JD, Jasper, thank you very much. Or as I like to call him, the president of All That Matters and the fifth member of Uranus. And also kudos to your entire team for putting this whole thing together as well. I was here with you, I think, for pretty much every single Music Matters event. Sans one maybe last year for obvious reasons, but so thank you very much for having me back. Ladies and gentlemen, today this segment is called Made in Singapore for Reels. And we are very fortunate today to have with us three exceptional Singapore-based talents. They're artists, they're musicians, and they're entertainers, and they're superb in each one of their fields and so much more. But I wanted to try and get an idea of what it is they've been up to as artists throughout what has been, as John Dykes mentioned yesterday, very tumultuous times over the last 12 to 18 months. Specifically, what I think a lot of us have been doing and that has been on social media platforms, on Instagram, and I'm sure you have by now heard of Reels, which has taken the world by storm. I mean, this thing has just spread way out of control. It's absolutely awesome. And now Reels is available here in Singapore at long last. I think it's been around for just over a month, or just about a month or so, and it's just completely taken off. And so we have these three wonderful artists to talk to us today about what they've been up to through the medium of Reels. Not just about what they do musically, but also what they do outside of that, how they've been keeping themselves busy. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome up onto the stage Nathan, Inch, and Aisyah.
I remember when,
Good to see you, ladies.
Alrighty.
there was something so
All right,
Have a seat.
welcome. Hi.
Hi.
They're here. We have them. Okay,
friends.
good. Thank you, first of all, for taking the time out to be here with us at Music Matters 2021. I know that you all have very busy schedules, which is almost ironic because you as artists, as performers, I mean, the last 12 to 18 months could not have been easy for you in your careers. You haven't been able to perform and do the things that really you want to do. It is what you do.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to try and get an idea of how you've kept busy. You as artists, as performers, as entertainers, how you've been keeping busy.
The first few months we're trying not to go absolutely insane because I think especially when you put so much of your self-worth into your work and so much of your identity into your work as well, which is, I don't know if it's healthy, we'll get into that later. But you know, when so much of that identity and self-worth goes into the work and the performing and the interaction and that feedback, the immediate feedback loop you get from that, and it suddenly disappears, it makes you just have, I think all of us kind of went through certain degrees of identity crisis, definitely. But we're all good now.
But you must have been
No, we're not. slowly, we're getting there slowly.
because I'd imagine, much like Jasper and I would have done in our heyday in Uranus, that's the name of our totally awesome rock band, by the way, shameless plug. But, if we had gigs lined up, if we had things in the pipeline, and all of a sudden we're told, nope, can't do, you can't do that anymore. I mean, that must have bummed you guys out.
Yeah.
For real.
You nearly
reals.
forgot to pick up the mic. That's how long it's been.
But I guess for me, it was I got to work on myself a lot. Yeah, during the times, because if not, we're just all busy being distracted, traveling, seeing the world. But then now you're just forced to be introspective, and it's cool for me because I like being alone and I like being in my own space. So I guess for a lot of creatives or musicians, they enjoy that too, that space for them to just really go deeper inwards and hang with ourselves. Yeah, so I started painting, I started picking up yoga and stuff, and I started flowing a lot more, and it was so great for my mental health. And then I feel I don't know, and when the jobs came, it was right at the right time, my blood's all flowing and I'm ready for the world again, Yeah. How's you, boo?
I think the whole readapting, I guess, your plans, because for me, I was supposed to slated to tour a theatrical performance that I was doing called Till the End of the World, Me in No Man's Land. And we had slated to do a whole Europe tour. And then when the whole thing started like falling apart, we were like figuring out how to rejig it. And I think the thing that I think I've been trying to crack, at least for the last few months, is how do we re-engage with the world in a way post-COVID, right? We can't completely do exactly the same things as we did before and risk health issues or any of that stuff. So, I mean, it's important to now look at new tools. In this case, Reels is a tool, right? That we can figure out higher engagements and ways that we can connect with our fan base and people.
It's interesting the three of you have just mentioned more or less the same thing about remaining creative. You guys are highly creative individuals, and so having these platforms and being able to do that gives you that opportunity to remain creative. I mean, that's what you do day to day, right? So I suppose, is it fair to say that it is, you know, double-edged sword? Well, I say double-edged sword, there's two sides.
Art comes from a lot of like sadness and tragedy as well. Like that's just kind of how it is. Like you go through these rough times and you come out of them a little bit stronger. It informs the art, makes it a little bit richer. Like, would we have preferred to not go through the last 2 years? Of course. But like to be bitter towards it, I think is just not a very healthy mindset. It's very much like there's so much that was gained along the way as well, both as like artists, as public figures, as social media personalities, whatever it is. I think a lot of people learned a lot of things over the last 2 years. And also that connection between the audience and the creators has become a lot more intimate. Like I think Twitch viewership shot up by like 200% or something like that, essentially once the pandemic started, because like the studios weren't filming anything anymore. So how do you get that daily content? It's just from like watching people create something out of nothing. And individuals, like individual people,
Was it just as important for you guys to have an outlet to create as it was for your fans to still be able to connect with you online? Is that just as important for you guys?
I don't know, man. I feel like online, I've been trying to put myself away from being online because I tend to do this self-destructive thing in my head. So like, I'm still trying to find a nice sweet spot of, you know, enjoying the internet and also not relying on it too much, which is kind of impossible, you know, like streaming is just the only way for you to like release music and for everybody in the world to like be able to listen to you, which is so cool. But it's just about finding that balance again, you know, and I've always been doing videos online and, you know, Twitter has always been like the place where it gets viral, you know, and then suddenly it gets hacked and it's gone. Everything is gone, you know. People can't see me anymore online and I have to restart again. So it's this kind of things that just messes with your head a bit. Yeah. But you gotta do what you gotta do, you know, like, and putting it online is accountability for yourself as well, you know, like you see your things being tangible, like you see all your hard work online and appreciated by people, however many there is that's watching, you know.
Yeah.
What I find so cool now is, I hate to say it, I'm old school, man. Like I just remember coming up onto a stage, banging a drum, and then leaving the stage, and that would be all she wrote.
Yeah.
But now there's so much more stuff going on, as you say. You know, first it was Twitter, then it's Facebook, now it's Instagram. There's all this stuff going on, and what I found cool, certainly leading up to our conversation, was looking at your guys' accounts and seeing these reels that you put out there, and the fact that you can do so much more than just hit record. Film yourself, stop record, and post it, right? There's all these added features, and there's tags, and there's this, and there's that. Talk me through, because I'm new to it. I'm brand new to this whole thing on Reels.
Yeah.
But you guys have embraced it.
Oh, well, okay, so I'm gonna be super honest, like, when the whole short form video thing started coming back, about like 2.5, 3 years ago, because there was a period of time where long form videos on all the social media platforms were getting pretty hot, like 15, 20-minute videos.
Right.
But now we're back in the phase of short form videos, especially with TikTok and like Reels and all of that.
Yeah.
I did not embrace TikTok in the beginning, like, not because like I was dismissive about it or anything, I just couldn't understand how to translate my content, like,
in such a short...
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. And I think I just didn't open my mind enough. Like, I learned a lot from pretty much just trying to relearn how to use social media, because I think as things change, it's very natural to be like, oh, the old thing is better, and like, oh, these kids and their new social medias. Like, you're tempted to go into that mindset of like, the new thing is not as cool or not as good as the old thing. But I learned a lot about just embracing that change and like learning how to pivot, reconfigure. I don't know what the word is, but you know, just trying to figure out how to funnel yourself into a different medium while still maintaining what makes you you.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, we're human beings. We're not corporations. We don't have like schedules, like social media schedules to adhere to. It's very much based on our mental state, our state of mind, like how connected we are to the world and our audiences at any one point. So yeah.
Got you. So there's no set time. There's no right time to be posting anything.
There's no right time for any. I don't know. It's just that when you said like, oh, we embraced it very readily. I know I didn't. It took a while for me to like get into that groove.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it was, you know, my own mindset that changed, or if it was just like the platforms that morphed and the content got more diverse, and I felt like I could have an entry point to it as time went on. I don't know.
I also think, is it fair to say though, it's kind of unearthed or unleashed these different, you know, sides to you as personalities. Yes, you're musicians, you're artists, and we love you for it. But for example.
Yeah.
You know, you do your music and it's awesome. We'll get to one of these reels that I saw actually, which was dope. But you've also now got your own brand. You've got your own clothing line. Is that right?
Yeah, me and Akin just recently started a sustainability fashion line. So things like it's been something that I've been working on and been wanting to do for a while.
Yeah.
Because sustainability is something that I'm very passionate about. And I think going slightly back as well to what we were all kind of talking about, I think as an artist, I do struggle how I negotiate with myself the kind of content I want to put out as well. And even not just the quality, but the type of format, like we're coming to a place where I think authenticity is extremely important, and I think the engagement needs to be very authentic. So even sometimes carefully curated content sometimes might not resonate with people. So it's about, like, to me, what your message is, and I think it goes back to what Aisyah talks about, I guess what the beauty about introspection and during this time for an artist to really kind of figure out what you're really about and distill that to the point on how you want to present yourself that way. Yeah.
Is it weird to say that, I'm feeling this more and more, but I feel like social media and like the plans that we make for it and the kind of content that we make for it, like it's almost like we shouldn't be, like the more we talk about it, the harder it feels. I feel like we should talk about it a lot.
The more weird it gets when you try really hard
I feel like we
about
should just be talking about it a lot less, because I feel like the most success I've ever had on social media came from no thought at all. It just came from a desire to reach out and connect to people.
Keeping yourself organic, right?
Yeah, but even it just came out of a desire to like say something or show people something or present something with no intention of like, oh, okay, this week is Shark Week. I'm gonna, I don't know. This week is Shark Week. I'm gonna post content about sharks. Or like this week is, I don't know, Christmas. I'm gonna post like 12 days of Christmas songs. Like, of course, there's those plans as well. But for the most part, like, I feel like, to Inch's point about authenticity, people can see through the bullshit so quickly nowadays.
Yeah.
Of like whether it's an ad or whether it's a sponsored post or whether you're like trying to push something. I just think the less you think about it, the more likely it is to like hit something.
Right, so as long as you're doing so, it's not a chore. This is not something like, oh man, I have to post this because I need to get, viewership, or I need to sell a product or something like that. As long as it's something that you hold dear to your heart and you're like, you know what, I want to post about this.
Yeah.
And you've got a reel. I think we have one of your reels. This is Angel's reel about your
my new sustainability line bikini.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at this. I want to see how this. Here we go.
Oh, how
Sweet. Yes. Absolutely. That's awesome. That, by the way, looked fantastic. Again, what strikes me as so amazing, it's like having a portable TV, no, forget TV studio. It's like having a movie production team in your pocket, right? I mean, that was amazing.
And I think what I think relates to us as musicians as well is the function that we can tag music right now, and we can tag various artists, or even ourselves can even show up there. So there is a really nice, I guess, tracking of the audio that's with that. It makes engagement, or for people to discover the music, a lot better. And I think it's stuff like this, like tools like this, that makes it, I think, a little bit extra in that engagement, which I think really helps. Because besides putting songs, like you can easily put a shopping link right after that, you know, for us, in that case, with that Reels as well. So it to me, it's about how do we engage people at the level and where they are.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite books of all time is a book by David Byrne called How Music Works. And his book really talks about the evolution of music on where the venue is. So how the punk rock movement was big at one point in time, because at that time, people were going to mid-sized clubs. At one point in time, arena music was big, and a lot of people were making arena music because that was the level of music where it is. And today, the question I want to ask a lot of people, especially artists today, is where is our audience? Most of us are on their cell phones. So how do you find a way to be able to engage people and where they are? And I think tools like this help, I guess.
Yeah. And, well, but also, eventually, touch wood, and it will happen, you know, you're going to look forward to getting back to being able to perform live in front of
for
an
sure,
audience
for
as
sure.
well, right? I mean, this...
Yeah. But in terms of the engagement, how you get fans, how they find you, it's all on these...
It's on the devices now, right? It's when you're on the bus, you're on the train, you're on the way to work and whatnot.
Pretty much. I mean, even if I were to ask, like, my niece and nephew, like, how do you discover music? All of them, the chances of them, it's like, have you been to a live show? They'll be like, no, especially not in the last 2 years. Sure. So everyone's really discovering music purely, mainly on their phones or on YouTube or on some kind of digital format.
I discovered something about you, Inch, as well. I discovered that you are multilingual. And only because, well, seriously, because I saw this thing on Reels, right? And I'm like, snap, I had no idea that you could do this. At first, I thought you were lip syncing. Just have a look at this. Can we play the second reel from Inch, please?
予定時刻は6時あとわずかで僕らは別々の道君は僕の少し後ろ涙ぐんで下は向き歩くやるせない思いだけで石転げ飛ばしてみてもいつからなんだろう互いにそうなにやれるまま大切に思うほど大事なことが嫌なくなってさよならはす
ごいすごいかわいいです
I think what I like about it is that I don't have to wear makeup at home. I just slap on an Instagram filter and I'm like, I'm ready to work.
It's magic.
That's awesome. So here's my next question is, what about when are you touring Japan? When are you going out there? Have you got a Japanese fan base as a result? And
When the world opens, when we've defeated COVID, maybe.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But do you have any aspirations to do that?
I think it goes back to the whole thing, right? Like, you could really do whatever you want, the way you want it, exactly how you want it. And for me, I've always grew up with, like, a weird bunch of influences, and Japanese music actually was one of them, J-pop. I watched a crap ton of anime while growing up, and I think that's how I learned my Japanese. And you'd be surprised at how many people have the exact same entryway into learning the language as well. So you have the same community online, and sometimes I like singing Japanese game music, like Japanese theme songs from animes and just random stuff like that, and it just tickles me, and apparently people like it too, so why not?
I think it's awesome. And speaking of having multiple talents, I'm moving over to you now, Nathan, because I looked up your reels as well. I mean, actually, we met during that one championship event, and I know that you are an awesome singer and all that, but I also know that you have an affinity for cooking.
Yeah.
has that always been the case? Have you always had a thing for cooking, or has that just come recently as a result of
As a
walking?
person that has
I've
tried
been-
his cooking, he is an amazing chef.
Yeah, I've been cooking
of
for
you
a while.
guys?
We have like cooking nights every once in a while. But like just it's like a fun little thing to do, and it also helps that. I mean, not to sound shallow or anything, but I find cooking content very interesting to consume myself, and like. I really wanted to translate like my interpretation of what cooking content can look like. So yeah,
Dude,
like
you
experimenting.
You're not kidding. You have a very unique cooking style. If your reels have anything to do about it, because how many people here have ever tried pad thai? Just out of curiosity. Come on, seriously. We've all tried pad thai. It's delicious. It's one of the best Thai dishes you can get out there. And you've your reel taught us how to make pad thai in what, 5 minutes?
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Can we get a look at this reel right now? This is something else.
Just because I keep it simple doesn't mean it won't get tough. And when I look into the future, I can't seem to see it far enough. No, I don't think I need the answers. I know I haven't got a clue, but if we wanna keep it simple, then I'll just keep on loving you. 'Cause it's so simple to love you. Love you.
I love that there was a little disclaimer at the end. Sorry, Thai followers.
Yeah.
If you didn't think this was an authentic dish.
But like even something like that, it was such a strange thing. Like I didn't plan it. I didn't think about it for very long. I just knew that I wanted to try out this Reels function. And I also happened to have a song that came out at the time called Simple. And I was like, okay, do a simple recipe, do a video of some kind. It didn't go through many rings of approval or anything like that. I just kind of did the thing.
Yeah. I wish I'd seen that. I wish we had reels when I was at university. That would have been my staple every night, honestly. That would have been something else.
But yeah, it was really just like, I'm not like a chef or like a known food person or anything, but people responded to it like quite well. Surprisingly, like genuinely on my part, I'm surprised. And I think it just goes to show that you really never know what's gonna hit. So why overthink it? Why try to like plan just to, you know, possibly get disappointed when you can just kind of express yourself?
You shouldn't be thinking about, you're not thinking about numbers. You're not thinking about how many likes am I gonna get?
Yeah.
Am I gonna get more followers as a result of this? You're not thinking about that. This is all part of the, as we talked about earlier, the organic process of just, you know what, I'm creative, I wanna create some content, and boom, there it is. Simple.
Yeah. I think the only thing that like I'm thinking about is really just, and again, on a more shallow note, is like how can I show off like a thing that I can do or a song that I have, you know, because it's a publicity thing, social media. Like that's the main goal. But in terms of like, you know, oh, what does the audience want? Or like, how can I cater to like, I need to check my insights and oh, more women of age 50 to 60 check it at 4 p.m. That means I need, you know, that stuff doesn't really.
You don't need that. It's not your concern.
I just don't think
it's interesting to know that maybe
it's interesting. I just don't know if it's a concern.
Stuff,
yeah, I don't think it's a concern of individual artists. Maybe if you're talking to a bigger company or corporation that has those like massive statistics and the capability to adhere to a schedule and no mental health issues to go through as a collective. You know, I think it's a lot easier. But as individuals, I think it's very much about like that freedom of expression and trying to translate that and trying to get over that hump, because social media can be very challenging on an individual heart and soul. Yeah.
Speaking of mental health issues, and certainly as a lot of people do struggle with it during, you know, these times, you've also got another reel. You've taught us how we can just smile. Yeah. So you've given us another way to smile and to wash away those COVID blues with something that was just, I assume, very random.
Yeah, this is another example of did not think it through.
You just did.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did. Can we roll this next reel, please?
Yeah.
Hello there. Hope your week's been going well so far. This is me. He likes butt scratches. Next time you're feeling down, maybe all you need is a little butt scratch. Coochie coochie coo.
Yeah, it's silly.
I want a T-shirt that reads,
for
next
that.
time you're feeling down, all you need is a butt scratch.
Yeah, it's silly, but it's really just like what makes you happy, and you express it, and like you never know how people are gonna relate to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also just on the side, like maybe this is advice to like other creators out there, but I don't know if it's good advice. But I found that what's helped me a lot recently is I just don't read the comments anymore.
Right.
I don't read, and I don't track the engagement of anything that I post anymore, not really. Like, I'll see the number pop up in the notification every once in a while, but I don't actually go to check.
Right.
And I think that does wonders for your ability to just kind of like have this constant output, because you're not overthinking, you're not analyzing your previous thing and what made that successful and how to recreate it. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. Social media is some weird voodoo magic, and everyone needs to figure out a way to try to unlock that box.
Absolutely. Everyone is different. I mean, we've already seen between you and Inch, you know, your content is quite different, you know. So, okay. So, no looking at the comments. There's no set time for butt scratches, right?
Yeah, no.
And maybe pad thai all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Smooth or crunchy for the pad thai, by the way, because I'm going to try that when I get home.
It should be crunchy, but I only had smooth.
You had smooth?
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Skippy. Okay. Thanks very much, Nathan. Aisyah, what's going on? You've been very quiet at the other end. I feel like I need to hear more from you now.
I'm just absorbing.
You're absorbing.
Absorbing
You're learning.
and listening and enjoying my time here watching cat videos. I'm cool. I like being here. It's a comfy chair.
It certainly is. And we got good friends. We're friends in the audience right now. We're learning as well. So I've seen some of your reels as well. But before we get into your reels, we talk about this. I'm new. I don't know what's what, and I'm trying to figure stuff out. I'm still using stories. Is that still a thing?
Oh, I love stories.
That's still a thing, right? I'm still hip.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Whew.
You're all right.
But with reels, I mean, what sets it apart from other platforms, from stories, for example? Because it took me a while, actually. So I'm from Hong Kong. I'm originally based in Hong Kong, and we don't have reels out there yet. Please bring it to Hong Kong, because it's dope. And all of a sudden I come to Singapore, and I'm like, what is this? And I didn't know the difference right away until I realized you could put text on there, and you could cut and edit your videos and things like that. Is that what sets it apart?
Yeah, you could do that, and then it's also longer.
Right. Is
So
there a
you can
limit?
use the
Is there a time
filter.
limit?
You can use the filter for longer, for like
Yeah.
60 seconds. Now I'm just beautiful for 60 seconds and not just 15 seconds. And you can have I can sing throughout that 60 seconds, just looking all cute. And that's I guess the most important thing for me. I love the text, and sometimes I just hide it. But the filters are the best thing.
Filters are
Yeah,
filters are
the
good.
filters are the best
Filters are
thing.
good. Well, I think this is a good way. Well, we'll save that one. We'll save that one until last, actually, because we don't want to. Mom might be watching. Right? We talked about this earlier. We'll get to that in a second. But how long does it take? Here I am, and I'm going to film the audience right now, as I did with Jasper as I come up on stage, and I'll just post it
Yeah.
with no thought whatsoever. That'll take me, 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Is that how long it takes you guys? No, it must take a little bit longer than that.
I mean, if there's steps to it, you're just going. Each step, you're just reminding yourself to take the shot, right?
Yeah.
If you do the cooking videos.
And do you teach yourself, or do you kind of go online and go,
It's
right?
fairly
this is how you do this?
intuitive. It's fairly.
yeah.
I mean, it's like a mass market app meant for everybody. There's definitely there's definitely higher levels of which you can
Yep.
function and edit and do crazy stuff with it. But for the most part, to just cut together a simple stitched, say you have 7 videos that you want to stitch together into one, it's a fairly straightforward process. It's fun to figure it out. Once you do, then you start unlocking the different directions in which you can take it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Cool. So we've got this first clip, you, Aisha. I think this is of you singing.
It's a sing-song clip, always.
Yeah.
I'm always just singing.
Good, that's good,
everywhere I
right?
go.
Makes you happy. See if singing makes you happy, right?
Yeah.
All
Makes
right,
me
so
smile.
let's have a look at this this first reel, please.
That's it.
What a tease. I want to hear that
I
now.
feel as though, yeah, I feel there was as a cliffhanger. Is that
Yeah.
plugging something or?
Yeah, I was plugging something. It was a tease, but
Yeah.
I think, okay, like Nathan was just saying, like, oh, you were just saying, like, okay, you don't care for the likes and stuff like that. But that still messes with me, you know, like, because, like, when I see, sometimes I don't really understand the algorithm, and, you know, some nights I can get really good traction, and then some nights I just get nothing at all. I was just complaining to my managers, like, what's going on, you know, like, and that, understanding that that's the algorithm is one thing, but it kind of also still, you know, it just makes me feel weird
Yeah.
when I don't get that traction that I thought I would, you know, looking at the insights and, you know, when is the best time to post, and then when I do, it's not hitting, but that's just overthinking it, you
Yeah,
know?
because like social media has only been around for like this
Yeah.
much time, while music has been around for that much time.
Yeah.
For the rest of the time, people didn't have such an immediate feedback loop. You know, like I don't think artists are meant to intake that much information. It hinders the creation of things, I think.
Yeah.
Like you just drive yourself insane. because-
Comparing yourself
yeah.
to other people, you know,
Yeah.
like, oh, she has more likes, or what am I doing wrong, and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
can't help that, you know, I'm still unlearning that. But lately it's been fun, you know, like I look at the traction and it's not as much, but I know that these are the organic people that are always watching me and that have real love for me. Real love.
Real love.
So yeah, it's just about being all right with, you know, the algorithm fluctuating and you just doing your own thing. You know, you can do whatever you want as long as it's organic, it's real to you. And yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to vibe with Osola right now.
Sure. And it's a learning curve, right? I mean, bear in mind also that Reels has only been out here in Singapore for about a month, right?
Yeah.
Right? So it's just taken off, it's blown
Yeah.
up, and it's only going to get bigger, right, as time goes on. But I've always kind of like used the mantra of, you know, when you're on a stage or anything like that, as long as what you do matters to that one person matters. But as long as what you're doing matters to that one person, then you're doing your job, right? You got to think about that fan, right?
Yeah.
So I suppose in that regard, numbers don't matter, as you were saying. As long as that one person is loving what you're doing, then you're doing something good.
And you should also love what you're doing, because there's also the scenario where, like, say for example, your management or your label or something is telling you or making you post like a quota per month or something. Not saying that mine does, but you know, like,
It
I'm
happens,
sure
yeah.
some people have those kind of quotas.
do.
Like that's when it gets real tricky, because like you need to, like, at the end of the day, love what you do. But that's sometimes easier said than done. Like, it's very easy to fall out of love with it, even faster to
Yeah.
fall out of love with it, and someone is like telling you, hey, so like, can you do another cover video or something, or can you do another cooking video, you know, like, yeah.
And it's your personal account, isn't it? This is not tied to a business. This is all you. You want to be able to do this stuff when you want to do it, when the mood strikes you.
Yeah.
1 in the morning, 12 midday, whatever. It doesn't. That's what it's all about, right? When it hits, when you get that inspiration.
Yeah.
Now you talk about these filters, which I'm hoping that if Jasper and I were to go on a reel after this, I don't know if there is a filter of like Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron, you know, from Baywatch or something. I want to do that with Japs. But you can basically transform yourself right there on screen, right?
Yeah, just like that. I woke up like that.
But that's a thing, right? People, I'm seeing these videos, and there's this thing that scrolls across where it's like, this is what I would look like if it was, you know,
Not perfect.
Whatever.
Okay, I don't
Things-
like that though.
You've got another one where you use a filter,
Yeah.
and
My mom had to like direct message me going like, Kaka.
what have
I
you
could
done?
hear her, you know, like, Kaka, don't do that. Like, what are you, you're making people think of you in a certain way, and I'm like, yo, just chill, it's a filter. It's like, I know it's a filter, but like, no. But I'm like, I'm still gonna do it anyway.
So your mom was freaking out about this one reel that you did, and
Yeah, she don't like it, but she's just being herself. I gotta let her be herself.
Let moms be moms. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at that reel. I want to see what mom was tripping out over. Let's have a look. You mean the tattoo on your neck?
I like it.
I see my dreams
I look
in your
fire.
eyes, too good to be true.
The hair though.
My heart is tangled to yours. I wanna be yours always. When I look at you,
Okay,
I see my dreams.
That's some nice ink.
thank you. That was the song I wrote that morning as I just woke up, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get a nice, cute filter that will make my mom mad a bit, just so that she will miss me.
Good to rebel every once in a while. No, I like that. That's really helpful. If ever I want to get a tattoo, I want to know what it looks like on me first before I make that commitment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Butterfly on the neck.
Mom's not listening now. Are you ever
Nope.
going to get a tattoo on your neck?
No, bro.
No comment.
I can't.
So all in all, guys, I mean, obviously we want to see you back on stage. We want to be able to come to Music Matters Live and showcase the talent of Singapore and have the crowds and the audiences again. But in the meantime, this is a great way still to be able to stay creative.
Yep.
It's a great way to still be able to connect with your fans. It's a great way to show your fans and make new fans, or show your new fans as well, that there's more to you.
It's also the best way to get their asses in seats once the seats open up again.
Right.
Like the marketing that you're able to do on social media for no money.
Right.
It's amazing. All you just need is to find that right magic, and I don't think anyone can give you a brief or describe exactly how to do it. You got to figure that out for yourself and what.
And but it's evolving.
Yeah.
You guys are now, you take this as a blessing in disguise almost. I mean, we've seen things now. I think it's in India, reels where there are artists. You were able to collaborate with artists on these reels, and you can have fans tune in and everything like that. And is this something that you guys have tried yet?
Not personally. Not personally. I've seen a whole bunch of those stitched together videos, when they have the stitched together videos.
Who would you like to collab with? Just out of curiosity.
Everyone on the stage.
Yeah, of course. But we
I
have
could be your drummer. I could be your drummer.
Yeah.
I know a bassist as well. He could play bass for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a crazy catalyst for collaboration.
Sure.
Just the ability to find, because you don't even need to reach out to this person to go hey, can I duet with your video or can I stitch together with your video? You just do the thing.
Right.
And if it happens to also be an amazing piece of content, there you go. You have this collaboration between two complete strangers that could potentially become something more.
And then automatically it's like a trial and test, right? If you go, well, these two have collaborated now. Once we are able to do it, let's get these two together on stage at a festival somewhere. And put on an awesome show, right?
Yeah, the catalyst for a collaboration is just insane. And the different kinds of collaborations that this enables, I don't think anyone can even predict where that's gonna go. I guarantee you there might even be full bands 4 or 5 years from now that would have met through these means,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I see a collaboration between the two best-looking members of Uranus and the three of you guys here on stage. I genuinely do. I genuinely do. Guys, that thing has been flashing at me for the longest time now. We are out of time, but you guys are gonna be sticking around for a little bit.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, you're gonna be sticking around for a little bit. I'm sure they'll hang out and answer any questions that you might have. But thank you guys so very much for sticking around. Thank you very much to Reels. Thank you again to Nathan, to Insh, and to Aisyah as well. And to Jasper, who's about to come up on stage and kick us off. So thanks again, you guys.